Picture this: a bright orange berry that grows where literally nothing else can survive. We're talking 15,000 feet up in the frozen Himalayas, where the air is so thin you can barely breathe. Windswept coastal cliffs where salt spray murders everything in sight, and the brutal Gobi Desert, where summer temperatures hit 104 degrees and winter plunges to -40. This berry doesn't just survive there, it thrives there. And here's the kicker: it contains the exact biochemical cocktail that the supplement industry has been desperately trying to recreate in laboratories for decades. If you're wondering why you've never heard of something this powerful, stick around, because the answer is going to make you angry. And hey, if this kind of suppressed knowledge gets your attention, smash that like button and subscribe, because we're just getting started uncovering what they don't want you to know. Let me blow your mind with one fact. This is the only plant on Earth that contains all 4 omega fatty acids at the same time. Omega-3, Omega-6, Omega-9, and here's where it gets insane: Omega-7. You know how everyone talks about omega-3s in fish oil like it's the Holy Grail? Well, omega-7 is so ridiculously rare in the plant kingdom that even macadamia nuts, which are considered a premium source, only contain trace amounts. This berry has up to 40% omega-7, 40%, while the supplement companies are selling you fish oil capsules extracted from industrial fishing operations that are literally scraping ocean floors clean and decimating marine ecosystems. This plant has been growing wild in mountains and along coastlines for 70 million years. Yeah, you heard that right, 70 million years. This berry was here before humans, before civilization, before we invented the concept of selling people overpriced supplements for problems that nature already solved. The ancient Greeks called it hippophae, which translates to shining horse, and before you think that's just poetic nonsense, let me tell you why that name stuck. Greek physicians documented that horses fed on these berries developed glossy, lustrous coats and recovered from wounds significantly faster than horses on regular feed. This wasn't folklore or mythology, this was clinical observation. When Carl Linnaeus classified this plant in 1753, he kept that Greek name because the connection to animal health had already been established across multiple cultures spanning continents and centuries. For 1,200 years, this plant has been one of the most revered medicinal species in Tibetan, Chinese, and Mongolian traditional medicine systems. 1,200 years of documented use. Yet somehow, most people living in industrialized nations have never even heard its name. That's not bad luck or coincidence. That's calculated suppression, and I'm about to show you exactly why. This plant is called sea buckthorn, and its story starts in the 8th century AD in Tibet. Physicians were compiling the Rgyud Bzhi, known in English as the Four Medical Tantras, a massive 156-chapter medical treatise that became the foundational text of Tibetan medicine. Sea buckthorn appears throughout these ancient texts, prescribed for digestive disorders, respiratory conditions, cardiovascular disease, and skin injuries. The Tibetans didn't call it a supplement or a nice addition to your diet. They called it the holy fruit of the Himalayas, and they used it as primary treatment, not supplemental medicine. Think about that timeline for a second. For 12 centuries, Tibetan physicians have been prescribing sea buckthorn to heal people, while Western medicine was still practicing bloodletting and drilling holes in skulls to release evil spirits. But here's where this story becomes economically dangerous for the people profiting off your health problems. This isn't just ancient medicine that worked back then, this is biochemistry that threatens multiple billion-dollar industries right now. The nutrient profile isn't just impressive, it's unprecedented. The vitamin C content is 12 times higher than oranges. A single sea buckthorn berry contains more vitamin C than an entire citrus fruit. The vitamin E levels equal or exceed wheat germ, which is the supplement industry's gold standard source. But here's what makes this completely different from every other so-called superfood they're trying to sell you. Most plants give you vitamins, and then your body struggles to absorb them. Sea buckthorn gives you the vitamins and the delivery system in the same package. It contains lipid oils that allow your body to actually absorb fat-soluble vitamins like E, A, and K. Without fat, your body literally cannot use these vitamins, they just pass through you. This plant solved that absorption problem 70 million years ago through natural evolution. It packages the vitamins with the oils in the same berry. That's biological engineering beyond anything industrial agriculture has achieved with all its GMO labs and corporate funding. Now let's talk about what the supplement industry really doesn't want you to understand. Omega-7, also called palmitoleic acid, is incredibly rare in the plant kingdom. Sea buckthorn berry oil contains up to 40% omega-7. Macadamia nuts might have 20% if you're lucky. Nothing else in the plant world even comes close to these numbers. So why does this matter to you? Because omega-7 specifically targets mucous membranes, which is the internal lining of your entire body: your gut, your eyes, your mouth, your urogenital tract. These tissues are under constant attack every single day from inflammation, dryness, and cellular damage. Omega-7 repairs them from the inside out, and there's actual clinical research backing this up. A 2014 study published in the journal Maturitas involved 116 post-menopausal women experiencing vaginal atrophy, a condition where tissue deteriorates due to declining estrogen levels. The conventional medical treatment is hormone replacement therapy with all its side effects and risks. This study used sea buckthorn oil instead, no estrogen, just the plant oil. The results showed significant improvement in tissue integrity, a non-hormonal alternative that actually works, validated by peer-reviewed science. Think about what this means for the medical-industrial complex. This single plant addresses needs currently filled by completely separate industries: moisturizers, eye drops, gut health supplements, cardiovascular medication, hormone therapy, all from one species that grows wild and doesn't require pharmaceutical patents or prescription pads. Is this why it's not sitting on every grocery store shelf? Is this why your doctor has never mentioned it? Absolutely yes, and the reason is even more calculated than you think. There's a specific reason industrial agriculture hasn't commercialized sea buckthorn at scale, and it's not because they don't know about it. The plant is an agricultural fortress. It's protected by dense, razor-sharp thorns up to 6 inches long that will puncture straight through leather gloves and make mechanical harvesting nearly impossible. But that's not even the real problem. The real problem is the anatomy of the fruit itself. Most commercial fruits, like apples or cherries, have a natural breaking point where they cleanly separate from the branch. Sea buckthorn berries attach directly to the wood with no separation layer. The skin is incredibly thin and fragile. If you try to pick them by hand, they burst immediately. Juice everywhere, no harvest. Modern mechanical harvesters designed for apples or cherries simply crush sea buckthorn into worthless pulp. The only commercial method that actually works is cutting entire branches, flash freezing them at -40 degrees Fahrenheit, and then shaking the berries off while they're frozen solid. That process is expensive, labor-intensive, and completely incompatible with the fast turnover commodity model of industrial agriculture. And that's exactly why big agriculture ignores it. They don't prioritize what's healthiest. They prioritize what's easiest and most profitable to harvest, store, and transport. They favor shelf stability over nutrient density every single time. Corn and soy can be harvested by massive machines, stored for years without refrigeration, and transported globally without special handling. Sea buckthorn requires careful hand processing, cold storage, and immediate processing to preserve its nutrients. It cannot be treated like a commodity crop, so they simply don't grow it. They grow what maximizes profit margins, not what maximizes your health outcomes. But here's where sea buckthorn reveals something even more powerful than its medicinal properties. This plant doesn't just heal humans, it heals entire ecosystems. The roots have a symbiotic relationship with Frankia bacteria that pull nitrogen directly from the atmosphere and fix it into the soil. That means sea buckthorn requires zero synthetic fertilizers. It literally feeds itself. The root system is extensive and aggressive, preventing soil erosion and stabilizing hillsides. It grows in soil so degraded and poor that nothing else can survive there. And here's proof that governments know exactly what they have: The Chinese government launched massive ecological restoration projects starting in the 1990s, planting sea buckthorn across millions of acres on the Loess Plateau specifically to stop desertification. This isn't a food crop initiative, this is ecological restoration at a national scale. Research from the Chinese Academy of Sciences documents this extensively. The same plant that heals human tissue also heals the skin of the earth itself, the topsoil. While industrial agriculture depletes soil and requires constant chemical inputs that poison groundwater, sea buckthorn regenerates soil naturally through nitrogen fixation. It's the opposite of everything modern agriculture stands for, and that's precisely why they don't want you growing it. So how do you actually find this plant if you want to see it for yourself? Look for willow-like silver-green leaves and vicious thorns. The bright orange berries grow in clusters that hug the branch so tightly they look like they're painted directly onto the wood. It grows wild across coastal Europe, throughout Asia, across the Canadian prairies, and in parts of the United States. It loves salt spray, thrives in poor soil, and laughs at drought conditions. You can find it growing where absolutely nothing else will grow, and that's your first clue you've found something special. Here's the thesis they absolutely do not want you to understand. We don't need new synthetic drugs. We don't need laboratory-created supplements. We don't need pharmaceutical interventions for conditions that already have plant-based solutions that have been tested over centuries. We need to look at what traditional medicine systems revered and used successfully. The Tibetan monks knew this plant's power. The ancient Greeks documented it. Modern science has validated it with clinical studies. These traditional systems used plants that industrial systems have either forgotten or deliberately ignored because they can't be patented and monopolized. Sea buckthorn isn't a trendy superfood that'll disappear next year. It's 1,200 years of documented medical use. It's nitrogen-fixing ecological restoration happening at a planetary scale. It's the only plant on Earth packaging all 4 omega fatty acids in one complete nutritional source. It's better than salmon caught from collapsing ocean ecosystems. It's better than avocados shipped thousands of miles in refrigerated containers. It's better than any isolated supplement they're selling you in plastic bottles for marked up prices. So why have you never heard of it until right now? Because you cannot patent 12 centuries of traditional knowledge. Because it doesn't fit the industrial agriculture model of easy harvesting and global shipping. Because one plant that replaces 6 different product categories is catastrophically bad for business. But here's the beautiful part. The plant doesn't care about their business model. It keeps growing in the Himalayas at 15,000 feet. It keeps producing on windswept coastal cliffs. It keeps offering the same nutrition that sustained entire civilizations for over a millennium. The only question left is this: will you start using it? Drop a comment below if you've ever tried sea buckthorn or if this is completely new information to you. And if you want more suppressed knowledge about plants and foods they don't want you knowing about, subscribe because the next vault opens soon. And trust me, it's going to blow your mind even more than this one did.